Hey guys, this is Owen with Seek Outside, and today I want to show you how to set up the Silvertip 2.0 floor liner. The Silvertip 2.0 floor liner is a great addition to the Silvertip for a few reasons. Number one, it does add a floor into your shelter as well as a low liner. This is kind of our unique system that we use in our shelters. This helps block condensation from touching your sleeping bag as well as provide draft protection if you have your shelter off the ground. Overall, the system does help reduce condensation by quite a bit, and it also makes your camp quite a bit more comfortable. Let's get into installing it now. First thing you're going to see is there's two different sets of cordage. So we have some shorter orange cordage. We obviously have our floor system here itself. This is our floor liner system. And then we also have some yellow cordage. One of the things you're going to notice here on the shelter is when we look at the stakeout points, those stakeout points are yellow, and this orange is going to serve a different purpose than that. So again, we're going yellow to yellow, so that's going to be stake point to stake point. There's a few ways to tie this in, but the first thing to do is really just thread all your line locks up. We have a quick video on how to do that up here that's a little bit more detailed, but if you guys just need a quick little version, here's what you want to do. You want to thread the cordage in to the back of the line lock here. You're going to pull it in through the front like this. The top is going to be your tensioning part. This is going to be where you're going to want to stake out, which is going to be the bottom part. Go ahead and take all this yellow cordage and thread it in to these line locks that are attached to the floor material. So this sil nylon here can be multiple different colors, but it's probably either brown or green. Go ahead and thread that into the line locks, get them all set, and then we're going to go to the next step. Now that you have your yellow cordage tied into the floor here, we're going to go up this white material. This is our floor liner system here. What you're going to see is above here are line locks, and this is where your orange cordage goes. So the orange goes to the white, and then the yellow goes down to the floor material. Just same thing, we're going to thread these into all of them. This cordage is a little bit shorter as well. Thread those in just like I had shown you before. Do that for all the corners. The next thing to do is start installing this here. First thing you want to look for is just go around the edges like this, around the floor where the line locks are. You're going to find one spot that has a normal stake point here. So why a normal stake point? Well, this serves two purposes. One is this is exactly where the door goes, and two, yes, we do think of everything. You don't want to be walking on line locks. They're plastic, they can break. So this is going to be individually staked out inside the shelter, but this is a great way to know where your door is. So we're going to go ahead, open up our zipper door here. So go ahead and just take this standard stake point, and to make it easy, just go ahead and link it up to a stake like so. Now, just because of the door orientation I have, I'm going to go to the left, but you can also go to the right. I'm going to go ahead and find the next point here with the line lock and the yellow cordage, and this is of course going to match up with our yellow cordage over here. Now there's two ways to do this. Number one is to tie it in permanently, which I'll show you right now. So to tie your floor in permanently, it's a pretty simple solution. What you want to do is go to your actual shelter itself. Go ahead and find this plastic line lock here, and you want to go ahead and release it. And what this is going to do is allow you to find this webbing loop that the line lock is sewn into. There's quite a bit of room. Take the cordage from the line lock on the floor and go ahead and thread this through that loop. Once you thread it through there, tie a simple slip knot like so, and just tighten that down, and then re-tighten this line lock on your shelter to make the cordage tight. Leave the floor itself loose until we're going to tension that up. Now number two, which is a more temporary solution, so maybe you're just going to use it for a couple days and then you're going to go back to floorless. What you want to do is find the stake that's actually staking out your shelter and take the cordage here connected to the floor and the line lock and tie a permanent loop like you would with your stake points like this, and just go ahead and loop it over that stake and leave it nice and loose while you attach the rest of the floor. Now that you have your first line lock connected on your floor system here, I like to come back in and just pop this guy off this front stake. It's just a nice setting point. From here, you're just going to go around counterclockwise or clockwise and just do the rest for all the other stake points. Best way to do it, in my opinion, is from the outside of the shelter. Go ahead and just pull out your line lock and your cordage here, whichever way you're going to tie it, which is either permanent or non-permanent. Tie it around, hook it up like this, and then just keep following this floor around. Eventually what's going to happen is that the pole is going to need to be set onto the floor, so I'll show that to you here in a second. One thing to mention while you're doing this is always just kind of keep your cordage as loose as possible while you're doing this. This just gives you some more room to connect everything up. Once the floor is all in, we're going to go around and tighten these all up. So we've made it around. We've staked 4 points of our floor down to the actual shelter itself, and now the floor is getting a little bit tight in here. It's now time to take our pole and insert that onto the patch that's located on the floor. What I like to do is simply lower the pole and then get my floor tight, get the patch to where the middle, like where the pole is sitting right now, and then I will insert the pole back onto that patch. With the pole on that center patch of the floor, it's time to just go ahead and follow the rest of the shelter in a perimeter and just make sure your floor system is staked out. We've got the floor system all loosely staked out now. The only last part is to do this front standard stake point. I'm just gonna grab this, pull this nice and tight. I recommend like a titanium stake or just a smaller stake that you can really embed in the ground so you aren't tripping over this. But just pull that nice and tight and just stake it down as far into the ground as it can go so you aren't tripping over it. The next thing to do is tie up our floor liner. So the floor should be still a little bit loose. We're going to tension that all at the end, but we're going to tie our floor liner up, which is pretty simple in this case. Just because it's a little bit muddy, I'm going to take off my shoes. But again, just doing the exact same thing as last time. We're going to tie this up in that perimeter shape using our line lock and cordage. On the inside of the shelter, you should see that there are loops adjacent to the guy out points. So I'm just going to tie it in there, do a quick little slip knot, tighten that up nice and good. And now in this case, you can just start to tension that out. And I'm going to follow that perimeter around. Moving on to the next, just tying it up. And I'm going to tension that out. So I have everything tied up here in the shelter as far as the floor liner goes, except for this front piece here. So this is meant to be tied up when you're either going to bed or if you want to step over it, but it does have, similar to our door tie back, if you just roll it up, there's a toggle on the inside side and a stake point here that you can just run these through, and there's 2 points. So if you don't want to run it, then you can just leave it set like that. In the case of wanting to run it, here's the way I like to do it. Take this, and you're gonna have to connect, take your cordage and connect up to this one as well. So there's gonna be 2 pieces of cordage going through there. Tie that up, simple slip knot, like so, and then just tighten that up, like so. And then you can do the same, you double up to the zippered door here, like so. And you just, again, a slip knot is all you need. Now, what I do is I just disconnect from this line lock here so I can go in and out of the tent pretty easy. When I'm ready to call it a night or I'm needing that wind protection, I just thread it through the line lock once again and just tighten that up, close up my door, call it a night. You can also do that with all the other points. You can just undo the line lock. So if you don't want to have the liner wall on a section, you can just tie that back and either fold it under the floor or just lay it down on the ground. So however you want your liner system to work, you can kind of set it up for yourself. Again, this is my favorite way to do it, is just have it releasable there. So I can walk in and out of the tent, and then when the night's over, then I can just go ahead and attach it back up. So the floor liner works really well with the shelter guide out. It works well without it, but guide out, it's gonna give you even more extra space. So when I come and pull this out like a guy out, you can see inside how much more room that makes and how much tighter that actually gets your liner system. Final thing to do for installing your floor liner system is, again, we left these yellow points down here loose when we were setting it up. So just go ahead and pull them out. You don't need to kill them, but just get them nice and tight and just go around the shelter, pull those tight. It's gonna give the floor a better shape and give you a little bit extra sleeping room. Thank you guys for watching how to set up the Silvertip 2.0 floor liner system. If you guys have any comments, just drop them down below and we'll try our best to answer them for you. And if you like seeing cool videos like this and checking out awesome shelters, backpacks, and tent stoves, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You guys have an amazing day.